Thanks everybody for joining me for another episode of Catching Up with Star Citizen. I've got my X52 Pro ready, I've got my joystick, and also my throttle, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So let's dive in! It's time for the game within the game. Arena Commander. Essentially what it is a flight simulator built inside the game itself so you can test out the different ships without permanently losing them. So let's get started. Now based on what control system you use, whether it's keyboard and mouse, controller, or in my case I'm going to use the X52 Pro flight system, we'll need to set up our different controls. As you can see, I've gone to the options menu, then gone over to joystick, then went down at the bottom where it says control profiles and selected SATEC X52. This is going to import the built-in control settings for the X52, and it also works with the X52 Pro. Now it's important to set where you're going to import those control settings to, so you want to select joystick on the right side here, and then click import. Now while we're in options, we can adjust some other things as well. We're going to go into flight movement here, and I'm going to adjust the controls to how I like to fly. Of course, you can adjust it to however you want your control system to work. First thing I'm going to adjust is the roll. It's currently set to rotate Z. I created this graphic to show you in which directions is the X, Y, and rotate Z on your joystick. I'm going to go ahead and click in the box where it says rotate Z and allow me to rebind it. I'm going to go ahead and move the joystick to the left in the X direction. Now it may pop up with this dialog saying, hey, this is already being used. And that's okay, because we're going to change the other one right now. Next, we're going to go ahead and change the yaw to rotate Z. I'm simply going to twist the joystick and it will register as rotate Z. I use roll much more than I use yaw for quicker turns. And once again, we've got this dialog and it says it's already being used. And that's okay, because it's being used by a different style called decoupling. Decoupling is more of a three-dimensional movement, front, back, up, down. Because there's no gravity, you can move in more unique ways, as opposed to a front-moving system that you typically do with fighter planes in an air-based system. So it's really super useful when you're in space. And it's okay if these systems overlap. If you don't totally understand this right now, that's okay. It's going to take some practice to get it down. Now once we've got that squared away, we're ready for Arena Commander. Now there's three different options. There's the Spectrum match, which is the multiplayer match, the Drone Sim, which is a single player, and the basic flight training, which is currently disabled. We're going to start with the single player, the Drone Sim. It has three different sections: Free Flight, Racing, and Vandal Swarm, plus the two locations, Broken Moon and Dying Star. Also, if you have multiple ships available, you can click right here to change your ship. Then click on the ship you want and click apply. We're going to go ahead and do some free flight here. We're going to go ahead and click launch and jump right into it.
Initiated. Systems active.
Alright, now we're in the simulation. We're just going to go ahead and test out some basic controls. First thing we're going to do is just throttle it up. We're just going to punch it and see what we can do. Now's a great time to test the responsiveness of your joystick. Push it forward, pull it backwards, left, and right. Get a feel for it. Now go crash into something so you get over the fear of crashing and dying. There we go. Extra respawn.
Stand by for reintegration.
Now it's time to test the weapons. Hold down the trigger button and the left thumb button. Now look around until you see some landing pads. Practice maneuvering your way right over the top of them. Then press this button down once to activate your landing gear. Now press the bottom part of the hi-hat to thrust down. Now another way to land is using the auto landing. Just fly over the landing pad and hold that button down, and it will guide your ship all the way to the landing pad. Make sure to hold it down until you land. Or you can use it just a little bit to straighten yourself out and then use your thrust down.
Safe arrival achieved.
Alright, now it's time to get out of your ship and do some EVA. Next, what you want to do is press 1 for your pistol and then press the left mouse button to fire. Give it a try. If you wish to holster your weapon, just hold down V. Let's try out the rifle by pressing 2 and then pressing the left mouse button. The T button will toggle your light on and off on your helmet. Now let's get off this platform and run out into space. Whoa, there we go. Use your W, A, S, and D to move around. Now you don't have to be landed somewhere. You can actually just hold down the F key and get out anywhere you are.
Warning, systems overheating.
Another fun thing to try is actually shoot your ship so you can see the actual damage being done to the ship from your weapon. Check it out right here. Their damage system is vastly improved. Well, that was fun. Now let's go ahead and try some racing. The first hurdle is figuring out how to start the race. You actually hit X to start the race, but it's hard to see it when you first come in.
3, 2, 1, go.
Throttle up and we're out of here.
Checkpoint.
Now the first thing you're going to discover is drifting sucks. Watch as I completely miss the mark here and have to turn around and go back and go through the checkpoint again. Go slow and learn the course. And then try to go a little bit faster each time you go around.
Checkpoint.
Don't get frustrated as you're going to hit stuff. You also may end up going the wrong way.
Wrong direction.
And of course, ultimately crash.
Stand by for reintegration.
X to respawn, get right back at it. You'll get better with practice.
Checkpoint.
I also like to test my skills by flying in third person. Woo, it's a bit harder, but fun. Then throttle up and go all out.
Lap complete.
Now let's switch over and do the single player versus NPC, also known as the Vandal Swarm. Now one of the first things you may try to do is lock on with missiles. Well, if you don't have the right missiles, it won't allow you to lock on. You want to get close to your enemy, but not too close.
Hostiles inbound.
Now, to use missiles that lock on, we're going to go ahead and switch out some of our equipment here, and then try it again. But this time, we're going to do a multiplayer swarm. Notice there's public and private match. We're going to go ahead and do a public match.
Anvil Aerospace. All systems online.
Now we need to wait for the other players to join, and we're off and running. And now we got a new buddy, Sick Goat. We're going to work together to destroy the enemies. My favorite type of gameplay. Now I also discovered that zooming in your interface helps a lot when you're trying to kill an enemy. All you do is use your scroll wheel on your thruster. Let's see it in action.
Target destroyed.
Now if you've got the right missiles and they lock on, what you're going to see is this red circle, which means lock on, and this red flame, which means how many missiles you're going to fire. Press this middle button to fire.
Target destroyed. Starboard.
Now that you know how to fire the missiles, you also need to know how to evade the missiles. Use flare and chaff by pressing this button right here. Practice getting close, but not too close.
Destroyed.
Stay on their tail, wipe them out, but don't run into them.
Target destroyed.
Now it's time for multiple missiles. Go ahead and press your missile button several times until you see 2 flames, and it will fire 2 missiles. And they're away, as you can tell by the 2 triangles.
Shields charged.
Also, be careful for other dangers. Clip an asteroid and you're a goner. I was out of ships and out of guns, so I just ran off the sim boundary. It's going to destroy my ship and end the simulation. Me and my new buddy got to a respectable wave 15. We also got some rec points for playing Swarm. Considering I haven't played in a really long time, I'll call that a win. Honestly, from this score, I think he was carrying me. But it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get back in there again with some of my members. Next time, we'll tackle the social module. We'll hang out with a lot of cool peeps, we'll check out all the armors and the weapons, and we'll look around ArcCorp. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead and throw in the comments, there's no up in space, so I know you made it all the way to the end, and what you're most looking forward to in Star Citizen.